everybody out there. This is Justin Chamness, the Real Estate Wholesalers Club, where we're all about helping you get to that first deal. That's that first deal paycheck, that shut up money. We use hashtag shut up money here because that's that first deal that changes everything, changes your life. It takes the blinders off. It opens up the possibilities. It removes some of those preconceived notions that you have about yourself. And it allows you to tell people in situations in your life, hey, shut up. Today, we've got a great thing here to share with you. I have recently made kind of a friend here, and you guys know who he is. Marcus Maloney. He is a blogger for the BiggerPockets. I don't know if you guys have heard of BiggerPockets. Just kidding. I think it's the biggest podcast on real estate, I think, in the country, if I'm right. Marcus was just actually on that podcast. You may have seen him, but I wanted to introduce him today and let him share a little bit with you. You can ask some questions, and maybe he even has some questions for you. But if you're out there looking in and you want to participate, go ahead and jump on in here with us, and you can do so today. It is a public forum. It is www.zoomjustin.com. That's how you get in here, www.zoomjustin.com. And the password is money, lowercase. You know the password is always money, right? Marcus Maloney, how are you?
I'm doing great, Justin. Hey, man, it's early here on the West Coast. It's 8:00, but I am an early riser. I'm normally up at 5, like I was telling you. I get my morning devotion in, clear my mind, get my mindset right for the day. Even on a Saturday, I do that same thing. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited to share all that I know. Guys, I'm an open book. So if you have any questions, don't feel like no question is dumb. Just let's get in and let's try and get this first deal done for you guys. And because I definitely remember the time when I was going through the struggles, man, just trying to get that first deal done. I'm not sure if Justin told you guys my story, but I'm originally from the Midwest, from Chicago, and I moved to Phoenix. And I was promised a job here in Phoenix and packed up my family. My wife went 2 months before me, packed up my family. I had at the time, 3-year-old and 4-year-old and a 13-year-old. So we packed up and we moved across country, 2,000 miles, and I was promised a job. And when I got here, the job was pulled out from up under me. So wow. I'm here on the West Coast, 2,000 miles away from my family. Really no real income. I did have some rental properties back in the Midwest, but it was...
Marcus, can we back up?
Sure.
Because I was listening to this BiggerPockets podcast that you were on, and you were talking about when you were a kid being raised on a pig farm. Is this right?
Yep, absolutely.
And being of the, kind of the financial, position with your family is that getting school clothes was something that you had to get I guess you had to get a hog and raise it.
Yep.
Tell us that story again, if you don't mind, man, because when you told that story, I mean, it really kind of hit me, because you really can come from wherever you are with this real estate stuff.
Yeah. So my grandfather, he was an entrepreneur. He was a Navy vet. And just to go back even a little bit further, my grandmother, she was an entrepreneur. She only had a 4th grade education, and she was living in Chicago. And the Lord told her to move out of Chicago to this 50 miles south of Chicago to this little town called Moments. I mean, it's literally 3,300 people. We were probably one of 2 or 3 African-American families in the community. So we didn't know much about farming, but we ended up having this 50-acre farm. And my grandmother and grandfather being entrepreneurial, and my mom, they said for us, the kids, in order for us to get school clothes each year, we had to invest. And our primary investment was a piglet. So we had to purchase a piglet at the beginning of summer, soon as we got out of school. So the piglet was about 15, 20 bucks. And the more we fed that piglet, it turned into a hog, got older and older, got bigger and bigger. And then before we go back to school, we could take that hog to the auction. Whatever money we made, that's what we used for school clothes. Wow. So it taught us investments at an early age. So we bought low, $10 to $15. And then when we turned around and sold that hog, it was like $150, almost $200. So we, 10x'd our money just in a few months. So that really taught us, inspired us, like, hey, you could start with a little and really increase that little to a lot. And that's really the moral of the story. I want to tell you guys, no matter where you're at, start with the little bit that you have, man, and use that little bit to increase.
Man, that's an incredible story. I'm sorry I interrupted you to have you go back and tell that story, but I was going to ask you to tell that story again, because that's such a powerful story. It's so unique too. I think it says several things to us, really. It says that, you can start from, it doesn't matter where you came from, what side of the tracks you were born on or whatever. But also that there's great lessons that you're learning, like in that situation, about how to be smart with the money, how to buy something low, sell it high. There's some powerful lessons coming from that, man. That's an incredible story. I don't know if you've got a book somewhere, but you got to write that. You got to write that.
Yeah, I never thought about it, but I keep hearing that. People keep telling me, hey, I need to write a book. But I mean, even with that, the lessons that I learned was not only to invest, but you make it what you put into it. So we had family members that was like, man, I don't want to do this. So when they turned in their piglet, their hog, they didn't make as much as some of us, that really hustled, got out there 5 o'clock in the morning, had to feed the animal. And that's another thing. So Justin, I go back to my 5 o'clock AMs. It was set back then when I was little, so we were made fun of, in school because we had to get up early in the morning. Dude, when I tell you it was hard work, I mean, we would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And if you guys know the Midwest, in the winter, it can be dead cold in the morning, below freezing. So when we would go out and water our livestock, we would drop water on us. And it would be so cold that our pants would freeze on us. And this is before we went and got on the bus and go to school. So it taught us a lot, man. We hated it then. But now I look at my family members that went through that with me, and all of them are pretty much successful. I mean, my brother, he's running a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. My cousin, he works in the school district. He works with the nonprofit, so a lot of us are doing some things, but it was set from those ground rules early.
Yeah. And your mom and dad, are they still with us? Are they still around?
Yes. My mom and dad is still with us. And I do have a story about that. So my mom, she, and this is how she got into that entrepreneurial mindset. She was working for a state facility as a head nurse administrator, making good money back in the 80s. I would say at that time, like $80,000, $90,000, which was good money.
Wow.
And
that's good. That's pretty good money now.
Yeah. And she walked off her job, man. Just really? She said, you know what? I have a mission, and her mission, and she the one that started the nonprofit. So she had a mission to work with kids, disadvantaged kids, because she grew up, in Chicago, in the South Side, and some of the rougher neighborhoods. And she started busing these kids. Her and my grandfather would bus these kids from the inner cities of Chicago to come down on his farm and work with us and learn these, these work ethics and these morals. Yeah. And from there, she said, you know what? God really had a calling on her life to do that. And she walked off her job, man. And really built that business. And now, like I said, my brother, I'm still affiliated, runs a multi-million-dollar nonprofit from what she started and what she birthed, her and my grandmother back in the early 80s. So that was my mother's side on the entrepreneurial. And my dad, what I learned from him was he's a migrant, an immigrant. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have my Panamanian flag up there. He's from Panama. So
cool.
I'm
beautiful place.
Yeah. First generation American. And what I learned from him is always look at the opportunities. Him coming from Panama, being here in the States, he always saw the opportunities, that we had as kids here in the States that he didn't have growing up in Panama. And to make a long story short, he worked at a steel mill called U.S. Steel. He worked there for almost 30 years, got laid off. This was during the Reagan administration, got laid off. They didn't hire him back. So he lost basically all of his pension, everything like that, had to start over. And started over. He was a mean, upset guy going through that transition, which you could imagine. So now he was laid off. My mom walked off her job. So how they made ends meet, I don't know, because I was younger. But what it taught me was, you never give up. You always work. You always pursue. So I mean, God bless both of them. I thank both of them for what they instilled in me and my brother. And that's what brought me to where I am now. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing how there's kind of this dichotomy. I don't know what the word is exactly, but how, coming from a position like that, where you got nobody to trust but God, really. It sounds like,
Yep.
And raising kids too. But the lessons that you learn in coming from nothing really prepare you to be the guy that makes it, where you have something, whereas if you were born into a comfortable scenario, then maybe you don't have some of those lessons and some of that drive or some of that, motivation. So I think a lot of times people look down on themselves, we're like, well, my family, never went to college or, nobody's ever had any money really in my family ever. I'd be the first one. Okay. You don't really know how you have been prepared for this, really, kind of. So if your thoughts are leading you that direction, go for it. Right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this book here, Power of Broke, if you guys haven't read that, you need to read it. It's by Damon Johns. And it talks about exactly what we're talking about starting from nothing, because you normally either have two things when you're starting a business. You either have the money and no time, or you have the time and no money. So if you're in a position where you don't have the money, but you have the time, you have to get out there and you have to maximize that time and use that time to help other people or find other people with the money where you can pair your time with their money and really make things happen. And that's one of the things that I did. Going back to my story, moving from Chicago to Phoenix, I had plenty of time. I wasn't working, I had plenty of time, but I didn't have any money. So like I told in the BiggerPockets interview, I started with $200, so it goes back to taking that little and letting God bless it and make it much, so I started with a First Premier credit card. I'm not sure if you guys know First Premier, but it's one of those.
Yeah. It's a secured deal, right?
Yeah. So it's one of those
$300 credit limit kind of thing.
Yep. You use it really to reestablish your credit. That's all I had. And I took that and I started with that. I bought me a legal pad, and I just got to writing out letters and started writing out letters and sent letters all across Phoenix. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just new to the area. So I didn't know what was the good area, what was the bad area, who to connect with, who not to connect with. But I just got out there and I got started and made tons of mistakes. But in the midst of those mistakes, I found someone and he pulled me in and he said, "Hey, I see you're a grinder. You're out there doing it." Because this whole time I'm on BiggerPockets, journaling my story. I'm telling everybody, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, the ups as well as the downs. And he reached out to me. He was a major wholesaler here in Phoenix. And he was like, man, come on in, because I had put this deal out there.
Who was it? Can you tell us, Marcus? Who was it?
Yeah, his name is Gabe Ostrowski. He's actually a pretty good friend of mine now, business partner of mine. So I got started with him and Justin Colby. I'm not sure if you guys know who Justin Colby is, but
I've heard of. Yeah, I think he's got a YouTube channel.
Yep. He's with a YouTube channel, The Science of Flipping. He's with like Sean Terry and Kent Clothier. So them guys pulled me in, and they said, hey, you're a grinder. We need an acquisitions manager. We need somebody that can close some deals for us. And I said, hey, whatever it takes, I'll do it. And got out there and just started hustling, man.
So they offered you some mentoring, some training, teaching, and stuff like this, along with the acquisitions manager role.
Yeah, it was OJT, man. It was on the job training. So I had to get out there and I had to learn pretty quick, but I was always a savvy person when it come to talking to people, so it really wasn't that difficult. But what was difficult was learning the numbers and everything like that. And that's where that mentorship really came into play. And they helped me learn that, helped me learn how to calculate ARV, helped me learn how to, estimate the rehab cost and everything like that. So that's one of the things that I tell people is, again, if you don't have the money and you have the time, get out there and bird dog for somebody, get out there and do something for somebody. That way you can learn, along the way.
Yeah. I was saying the other day, the biggest mistake in creative real estate is not doing it.
Yeah. You just, and I always tell people, so what if you look stupid in the beginning? It's okay. That's part of the learning process.
Sure it is. Yeah.
You can't, one thing I always tell people is you can't circumvent the process. Some people, Justin, like yourself and some of the others, we've been doing this for years. We didn't automatically wake up and boom, we closed our first deal and now we're on our way running. Sometimes it takes, 8 months, 9 months. In my case, it took me almost a year to close that first deal, but I learned so much from it, and that propelled me to where I am now.
Yeah. So almost a year to get to your first deal. Wow. Yep. Tell us about that. I mean, what were some of the ups and downs? Because I know that there are some people in the room and watching around. We're on several platforms, guys. If you want to come into the room and ask Marcus some questions, you can. It's www.zoomjustin.com. The password is money. But I know there are folks out there that are still trying to get to that first deal, and they're riding the emotional roller coaster. Sometimes they're high, and sometimes they're just, man, like, I don't know if this is even for me. Is it me? Am I not cut out for this? Is it the business? Is it the leads? Is it and so what is the best advice that you have for folks like this?
Man, Justin, I wrote that emotional roller coaster and sometimes still do, because you get so close to a deal and then let's just say the seller backs out or something like that. And you're like, man,
sometimes it's not even something you did.
Yeah. But you, the first thing you want to do is you want to question yourself. Wow, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Did I offer too low? Should I have taken, the offer that they said that they wanted? Should I? Sure. So riding that emotional roller coaster. One thing that I want to tell you guys is be consistent in what you're doing and wake up in the morning. I don't care if it's 10 minutes, get up, have your affirmations, have your confessions, man, and say, I am able to accomplish that first deal. I am, able to be successful as a real estate investor. I am, because as you know, Justin, in this business, you hear a lot of no's, a ton of NOs,
Sure.
So sometimes you have to motivate yourself, with I am able to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to do, and know that everyone goes through that emotional roller coaster. Self-doubt is one of the biggest things and the easiest things to do, is to question yourself and to doubt yourself, so guys, I'm just letting you know, if you're going through that right now, no matter if you're young, if you're old, you have to learn how to retrain this mind and reframe it. And like I said, the way I retrain and reframe it is by my morning motivation, devotion, and confessions.
Well, you said earlier that you even do this routine, the devotion and meditation and prayer and what have you. I don't remember exactly what all you said you do, but you said you even do this on Saturday. So I know you're a hardworking guy. You don't even let the Lord have a day off, it sounds like.
No, man, because there's some things I need him to do for me, because I know I'm not able to do it. Justin, I went and a part of my story that I didn't share was in high school and in grammar school, dude, I was like probably the dumbest person in the room, always. I'm going to give you an example of how I was. I had a math test, I remember, and the test was distributed. I didn't even try. I wrote on the test, I cannot do this. And that's what I turned in on that test. I didn't have the mental capacity and the fortitude to even try. I just gave up. So I know right now, but even with that, so that was in my younger years. But then I matured some and I focused and I went to college. I got my MBA and everything like that. So I went from dumb as a box of rocks, to, hey, you're the smartest guy in the room, to now going back to, I don't know anything as a real estate investor. So I said all of that to say this: I have to get up and I have to do that, my morning routine, which is I get up and I pray for 30 minutes. I read a scripture. I read something positive. I find a book. I always got some kind of book around me. And then I do my morning confessions, my I ams, and then I listen to something positive for, 20 to 30 minutes. That's just to get me started, because I know, dude, my self-confidence sometimes is so low to where I'll sit in the room and I won't do nothing, won't take action. And I know it's hard for some of you guys to believe this, but I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for me doing that in the morning, dude, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that I do, honestly.
Yeah. No, I believe you. Yeah. Because I think I'm kind of like that too. I've got a routine myself, and I feel like it's what keeps me going and growing both,
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a discipline that that's a lot of people are missing.
Yep.
I think that for them it's hard to get going, and they feel like maybe they have to duplicate your routine or my routine, and that's just not true. It doesn't have to be as long. It doesn't have to be the same things even, or the same ways, but it's important that you take care of yourself, right? So
Yep.
okay, 12 months it took you to get your first deal. Let's fast forward, if you don't mind, a little bit.
Sure.
And you're a blogger for BiggerPockets, a well-known investor now. We would say you're a successful investor. You're not just a wholesaler anymore. You've gotten into BRRR. So you've kind of done what a lot of people are getting into the business to do, and that is start out wholesaling and then move into having some kind of a portfolio of their own where they have passive income. What do you recommend folks do if this is their end objective when it comes to the wholesaling game? How many deals should they do before they buy a first property, or what advice do you have for us?
So one thing that I would tell people to do is, if you have a sweet wholesale deal and you know that, hey, I can hold this thing and make mounds of passive income from it, you know what? The best thing to do is go out there and look for the money. And when I say that, there's tons of money out here, guys. Don't be ashamed to look for the money. There's tons of money out there. Even if it's creative, like what you do, Justin, even if it's creative, getting that property and, doing seller financing or something like that, or subject to, if it's something that you feel that you need to keep, don't let your self-imposed challenges stop you. You know,
Mm.
one of the challenges is always, dude, I don't have any money. I
Man,
don't
I'm
have
so
this.
tired of hearing that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I got sick of hearing that in my own head, but I'm like I hear that. It's just like, what is there not any other better excuse than that?
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? You don't have it because you're not out there asking for it. You know, I'll give you an example. I had a property, um, and I called the lady. This was going to be a wholesale deal, right? Called the lady 3 months prior. Talked to her. She said, "Yep, my property is in good condition. I basically want retail value for it." So I told her, I was flat out honest with her. Told her, you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm an investor. You know, we're looking to buy these properties at a discount so we can go in, renovate them, and put them back on the market. You know, she said, well, my property don't need renovation, you know, so on and so forth. So I said, well, I just recommend you list it with the realtor. And I left it at that. That was the end of the conversation. To me, that lead was dead. It was gone. Well, she called me 3 months later and she was like, I had made the offer. I made the offer at like $50,000. Always make an offer, guys. Remember, always make an offer. No matter how embarrassing you think that offer is, always make an offer. So she called me back 3 months later and she was like, you know what? I'm just done with this property. I don't want to list it with the realtor. You know what? I'll take your $50,000 offer. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to be in town. I actually happened to be going to Chicago at the time. I said, I'll be in town. Let me come by, see the property and meet you. Well, I got to the door, walked in. The property was so clean, guys, that I could lick the floor. Honestly, it was that clean. I could lick the floor. She just had the floors. We rebuffed, waxed. Everything was meticulous. And the ARV on the property was like 170. And she accepted 150. So I was like, well, yeah, I can wholesale this thing out, you know, I'll probably make 30 grand. I said, but this thing is in such good condition, but I didn't have the money. So then it was like, okay, where am I going to get $50,000 from in order to pull this thing off?
Right. Rob a bank or
yeah. I didn't have too many people to ask. So I was talking with my attorney because he was the one that was closing all of our wholesale deals. And I remember the conversation that we had, you know, some months prior. He was like, man, you're getting good deals. You know, usually I have money to deploy some capital, you know, that we can use to put it out there. I never raised capital or anything like that.
Sure.
So I called him up. I said, man, look, this is the deal. I said, I can wholesale this thing and make 30 grand real easy. I said, but it's more meat on this bone. And I sent him the pictures. He said, look, I'll give you the money for the acquisition and whatever rehab that needs to be done on the property. So now, just because I asked, I was given $90,000, guys, $90,000 just because I asked.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we got the deal done. I was able to go in and we did some minor rehab on it. When I say minor, probably like $17,000, $20,000 worth of rehab. And we walked away with a huge check. He made money. I made money. My partner made money. And it was well over, you know, that 30 grand that we anticipated. It was nearly $100,000 deal. But I could have took the easy way and said, I'll take the 30 grand. Mm-hmm. But I expanded my mind and said, okay, how can I find the money in order to make this happen?
Yeah. How can I be the buyer? Yeah.
Right. And that's basically what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a tremendous story because, you know, we always think like in terms of, hey, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to wholesale this deal, maybe 2-3 deals or 5 deals. I don't know how much money I'm going to make. So, you know, I'm going to do some deals. And then once I get some cash, okay, but hanging on to that cash after you get paid, that's a whole other discipline too, you know, and saving it up to buy your first rental property or something like this, or, but you're telling us that, you know, you don't really have to wait. You can raise the money. There's folks out there that have money. Just because we don't have money doesn't mean that it's not out there, right?
It's not out there. Absolutely.
And you get it by asking.
That's it. I mean, it's plenty of banks out here, hard money lenders, private lenders that's willing to lend money almost with no money out of pocket. I'll give you an example. I'm looking at joining this group, and one of the perks of joining the group is you come affiliated with a lender that will lend you 100% of the acquisition and 100% of the rehab. So that's no money out of pocket.
Right.
So again, that lets you know that the money is out there. It's just our ability to ask and be comfortable in asking, where
it's
can
not
I
even
get this
dependent
money?
on your credit either.
No, absolutely not. Again, when I did that deal with the attorney, he didn't ask me what was my credit score. He didn't ask me, how much money you going to put up. He looked at the deal and he was like, this is a good deal. I want in on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to go back to your original question and original thought, Justin, is guys, don't limit yourself, man. If you want to, start wholesaling, move on to passive income, get out there, get some deals under your belt. It don't take much money, honestly. Even if I'm not sure where the majority of our listeners are from, but like in the Midwest, and some places on the East Coast, you can get into properties with $10,000 down. That's one wholesale deal, or two wholesale deals. That's easy. And then you're right where you want to be, because what I always tell people is when you're doing wholesaling and stuff like that, this is transactional based. So you get a deal, you get money. You got to go out there, do another deal to get more money. So the best thing to do is get a deal, get the money, deploy that money into something that's going to bring you passive income. So take that $10,000, go and buy you a junker, rental property that's going to make you $200-300 extra dollars a month. That's a start, and then you can leverage that piece of real estate with the BRRRR method, BRRRR, and then transition that into more. And that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what a lot of us want to do here. So thank you for sharing that. That's a great insight. Because we give ourselves those excuses, man. Oh, well, I'll do this then when I get this, or I need to save up 30,000 first and then blah, blah, and what have you. But that's not really how this should work, right? So I appreciate you sharing that. I want to fast forward. I want to open the floor here in a minute for questions too, but I want to fast forward. If we were to do this same session 3 years from today, and I was to ask you, what would have had to have happened between now and then in your business and your life? You're a BiggerPockets blogger. You're an investor. You're a BRRRR guy. Yep. You've developed some things here, man. Some tremendous things. But 3 years from now, what would have had to have happened in between now and then for you to feel like you're a success?
Really, and honestly, Justin, it was a few things. It was consistency. That was one. I had to be consistent in everything that I did. So guys, that's one thing that I want you to do is be consistent. Don't start something, then stop. Don't start, stop. Even with the blogging, I was blogging. This was before anybody knew who I was or anything like that. Wasn't nobody reading the post, but I was blogging for myself so I can journal and go back and look and say, okay, last week, what did I do? This week, what did I do? Let me compare and see if I did more this week than I did last week. So one is consistency. That's what you're marketing. That's what, your getting up in the morning, you framing your day. Everything is consistency. That's number one. Number two is everything up here, believing in yourself, having that self-confidence, knowing that, hey, this first deal is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. I know I'm going to kill it when I get the opportunity. It's coming. And then number three is just marketing, consistently marketing, putting it out there, not knowing that you're going to get a return. Believe me, guys, again, I started with $200. I didn't know if I was going to make any money off of that $200 I invested, but that $200 turned into $17,898 off of my one of my first deals, and then the next thing is just tell your story, get out there, talk to people. You can't sit behind a desk all the time. I know it's kind of difficult right now with COVID, but you got to get out there. You got to meet people. You got to talk to people. That's the only way you're gonna be able to get there. So 3 years earlier, that's what I had to do in order to get to where I am now.
Well, okay. What about the next 3 years? If we were to have this meeting 3 years from today, what's next for Marcus Maloney?
What's next for me, man? I am looking into larger multifamilies. I have a small little portfolio of multifamilies, but I'm looking at, by the time I'm 50, having 50 units
Nice.
and exceeding that. So I'm trying to accelerate my learning curve in the multifamily space. Trying to accelerate my network and getting around higher level thinkers, because when I told somebody this, 50 units by 50, they were like, well, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 45. I said, I'm 45. It was like, oh man, by 50, you can have 200 units. So that just, kind of opened up my eyes and everything like that.
Well, 50 units could be one deal, right?
Exactly. And that's why they say, man, if you're looking at 50 units, you could do much more than that. So it's being around higher level thinkers, and it's really making sure I don't put self-imposed limitations on myself. And then again, being consistent in everything that I do, waking up on a Saturday at 5 a.m., agreeing to meet with you guys Saturday morning at 8 a.m. because even my wife, she was like, you doing what? Saturday morning? You what? I said, yeah. I mean, the people want to hear from me. So I got to get out there, and let people know that this truly is possible. It's possible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And thank you for that, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. It's, and the reason why it's not a problem, Justin, is because I saw this years ago, so, I projected this years ago, that I would be talking with people, meeting people, and helping people along their journey. Now it's up to you guys to make sure you take what you learn and get out there and do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So he put it back on you guys out there. I'm going to put it back on you guys too. Let's open the floor here in the Zoom room for questions and comments or whatever. Let's go ahead and do that. If you're in the Zoom room here, if you want to be in the Zoom room, you can join us. But if you're in the Zoom room, you feel free to unmute your microphone and or turn your camera on and ask Marcus some questions. Anybody got any questions for Marcus Maloney today?
Guys, I don't bite. Come on, man. Let me know. I can help you out. I can answer your questions. And don't feel that you're asking me something that I won't disclose to you. I do a 15-minute free consultation. I talk to tons of people almost every day. So if you got questions, ask them.
Yeah. Here's your chance. And we got a bunch of people in here. I know a lot of folks have their videos off, but Jerry, you got a question? You just turned your camera on, huh? Oh, you got to unmute yourself there, Jerry.
No question at this time.
Oh, okay.
All right. How you doing, Jerry? How are you today?
Doing good.
Doing good. All right. So tell me, Jerry, since I got you here, what are you trying to learn? What are you trying to do as far as real estate?
At the present, lease options.
Okay. What kind of marketing are you doing so far?
I'm using the automated REI to do a blast. And I'm starting to pick the phone up and also just go direct on the phone and call people. I'm new to this, and I think one of the best approaches for me is to get over some of the fear of talking to homeowners would be just to pick the phone up and start talking to people. Whether I make a mistake or not, I'm going to move on. They don't know me.
That's right. That's right. And you
jump to the next person.
And I'm going to give you a quick little tip here, Jerry. I used to have that fear of talking to people on the phone. One of the things that I do when I get on the phone now is I stand up and I walk around. So I may have, an earpiece and I'm walking around. I may be walking around the house. So that takes you out of that comfort, that puts you in a comfort zone to where you're just having a regular conversation. You're not putting that on yourself to where I have to sit behind a desk. I have to be professional. I have to make sure I get everything done correctly. No, man, you're just having a conversation and you're just trying to find out, what can you do to help them? Again, when you're having those conversations with sellers, don't feel that you're selling anything, you're pitching anything or anything like that. You're trying to help them. Hey, Mr. Seller, my name is Jerry. I'm giving you a call because I'm interested in buying properties in a certain area. I'm just reaching out to see if you or anybody else have a property that they're interested in selling. Simple enough.
Okay.
So what do you think is one of the areas that you have the fear in when talking to people on the phone? Is it just making that mistake or thinking you don't know how to structure the deal or something?
I think one of the fears I have is like going virtual, where different states.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things you could do to start there, Jerry, is find a state where you got family members at. So if you got family members, let's just say in Cleveland, boom, start there. Pick up the phone and talk to a nephew, a cousin, or something like that, and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. If I need you to go and take a look at a property, I'll handle everything on my end, but I may need you to go out and take pictures or something like that. That's a way you could start by going virtual. I use my best friend. I'm here in Phoenix. I use my best friend in Chicago. We vet the sellers over the phone. We make the offer over the phone. And then I ask him, hey man, can you go over and take a look at this property? Take some pictures for me. Be professional when you do it and just bring it and send them back to me or upload them to our CRM. And then that's how we get started. We try and make things a little bit harder than what they are, guys. It's not real hard, man. It's not real hard. And you know what I even did? I'll give you one more, Jerry. One thing that I did was I was talking to a seller and just out of the blue, I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. I said, do me a favor. I'm out of state. I'm out of state. I'm still interested in the property. We buy properties in that area. But at the time, due to COVID, I can't get there. I can't get anybody there. And I want you to be comfortable enough. Why don't you just go around the house and take some pictures for me? And you can text them back to this telephone number. And guess what happened? They did that. So now I'm looking at, hey, this could possibly be an ongoing part of the process. So we just don't have to make things as difficult as they seem.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what it makes me think of is how much of this business is problem solving and being creative and, coming up with interesting and new ways of doing things, your way of doing things. Right.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I at one point I had a bad experience with wholesale, with the rehabbers, the contractors.
What happened?
Well, I bought a property and I hired the wrong contractor, and they started my job and 5 other jobs. Okay. In the middle of my job, I gave them money. They disappeared.
Okay.
And it just became a nightmare.
But guess what? You learned something from that, right?
I learned something from it, but it took me, the house I ended up moving into. And I think I stayed in the house for, I think 8 years. Okay.
Okay.
And I ended up selling it and I made $85,000, but it was like, but it was a nightmare with the contractors. And even to this day, I just don't feel good about contractors.
I've been through that too, Jerry.
Yeah.
You're not alone. That's all I'm saying. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. But my heart goes out to you because I know the feeling of, hey, they're using my money to fix somebody else's project. I know that taste. Yeah.
And you know what, Jerry? and I'm not sure if everybody else heard it, but I heard it. Man, sometimes you made a mistake, but still made 85 grand out of that mistake.
Right.
You know, so you learned something and you got paid for learning. Although you had that bad experience with that contractor, you know, okay, the next time I go to do a property, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have this contractor make a commitment to me, and I need a timeline when this project is going to be done. You get draws. So for a third of the project, you get some money. When that part is complete, the next third, you get another draw. Then when the project is complete and we close, you get your final payment. You know, so you learn from that. Hey, I can't be so trusting, and I can't, you know, just say, okay, Mr. Contractor, here's the money. Go ahead and get started.
Right. So
I
would go to the house in the afternoon. Well, I guess it was after they had worked, and they'd be in the back having a beer party.
Yeah, that and you know what, that happens. You have contractors, that happens, but you just got to vet your contractors. And the best way to vet, one thing that I learned is if you don't have a contractor and you're looking for a contractor, go to Home Depot when they open up, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The contractors that's there early, they're about business. But if you go to Home Depot at 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're just now coming in, you know those are not the contractors you want to put your money with.
That's awesome. That's incredible advice.
You know?
Yeah.
When doing repairs, on an average, how do you do your payouts to the contractors when they have a draw?
That's exactly what it is. Let's just say if the project is going to cost $30,000, then they may have 3 draws. You know, $10,000 to get the materials to get started, another 10, you know, at the halfway mark, and then you get the final payment when the project is complete.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So we do it just like lenders. You know, when you're doing a construction loan, you get draws.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I see TC Boyd in the room. If this is the same TC, I know this guy. You know,
there's Kimberly Lawler popped in here too. I've been seeing her on YouTube making some comments, and I bet she's got a question maybe also. But TC Boyd as well. I haven't met TC. Is he one of your guys?
Yeah, you know what? If it's the same TC, let me know if it's the same person. He's from Illinois, and actually, he used to work with us.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my background was a little loud, so I'm trying to get in a little quiet space.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I tuned in. I just saw that you guys were on, man. So I wanted to hop on because I know I was asking you, you know, some questions a few times, man. So yeah, this has been good, man.
Okay, good. So guys, just so you know a little bit about TC, he used to work for us in our nonprofit, and now he's getting into real estate and everything like that. So yeah, man.
Yeah, let me get my video on. There we go.
There we go. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Yeah, you know, the fam, man. So I was like, man, they loud over here. But yeah.
Okay, well, right now we in the Q&A session, right, Justin? So anybody that got any questions, man, the floor is open. Again, I'm open to answer any questions you guys have.
Yeah, actually, yeah, man. I was gonna say, I was listening, man. I think you answered some questions I was asking, because you know, I know I asked you about finding like some leads and stuff. So I did find some out here, and I'm starting to, you know, call some. I think, you know, like you said earlier, like the mentality, like mentally, you know, believing in yourself. I think that's been the thing that just spoke to me today, because you know, that was the challenge. I was like, man, am I really, you know, meant for this? Am I good at this? You know what I mean? And so I know you mentioned that earlier, man, and that was like something that I feel like I've been dealing with, like for like these feelings of like wanting to like, maybe I'm not cut out for this, you know? So I know you kind of touched on that earlier, but I guess I would ask again, like, was the main thing just, like you said, affirmations and stuff, just telling yourself that you're going to get it, you're going to do it? Was that like the main thing that really just, kept you going in it?
That was, man. And then you get to a point where nothing else matters. I mean, you get to a point where you say, either I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. So you have to come to a point where you have to challenge yourself. Hey, dude, are you that weak to where you can't accomplish this? Come on,
man. You're preaching to the choir here, man. That's right.
So you get to that point where you just got to challenge yourself. And one thing, actually, this is something that I read this morning, and I know I'm going to get the quote wrong, but it's, if you thought about it and it's in your destiny to do it, you have the power to accomplish it, because God wouldn't have put it in you if he didn't think that you can complete it. You wouldn't even have the thought. Like, I don't even have the thought to be an architect, to go and build a bridge. That's not in my destiny. So I'm not going to have that thought. But for me to have that thought of, owning 50 units, I have to be able to accomplish this because it's a thought that's within me. So if it's within me, I have the power to bring that to fruition.
Yeah, man.
So that was just something that I read this morning. And that's the power of getting up, feeding yourself something positive every morning.
Man, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So I know Dion had a question. Dion, you still there? I know you had jumped in for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate your time. And I just wanted to mention I'm a Chicagoan as well. I was born and raised there. I live up by Detroit now, but I'm a South Sider deep in my heart. So when I heard you talk about Chicago, that made me light up. I love hearing about folks from my hometown. But anyhow, you had mentioned something about a group that you were a part of that, provided funding for real estate, basically 100% financing. I was wondering if you could or would be willing to share any contact information related to that group.
Oh, he's looking for the secret sauce now, Marcus.
Yeah. No, it's no problem, man. No problem, Dion. First of all, where at on the South Side, man?
I grew up 80th and King Drive.
Oh, okay. Southeast. We doing deals over there all day, man. But yeah, I kind of grew up over in Inglewood, so I was west of you. But go to Lending Home. Lending Home, you won't be able to get that 100% financing because you're not a part of the group, but they do have some fabulous rates and everything like that for you to get started. And actually, you in Detroit, man, you need to look up Mike Simmons. He's out of Detroit, and trying to think of the other guy's name. Man, it's escaping me. But look up Mike Simmons. Man, he's doing things in Detroit. He's doing like nearly $100,000 a month. So that may be somebody you want to get connected with and learn from and see what you can do to try and position yourself with him.
Mike Simmons and Lending Home. All right.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much, Marcus. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Dion. Anybody else?
Hey, Dion, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How's it going?
Good. Hey, Marcus. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Justin, as usual, you always killing it with the value you provide for us.
You're
man.
welcome. You're welcome, brother.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, you were talking about doing the blogging thing, and I know that's kind of a big part of your game right now. And we're trying to create sort of a environment, I guess, for ourselves where we're attracting a lot of our business as opposed to always, going out, trying to find it, right?
Yeah.
And I know blogging is big. I know blogging, is something that really works. Now, I've thought I want to do it, all that, but tell me about how you go about creating topics and how you go about having, things to talk about and bring value.
Well, and that's one of the hardest things, Victor, is making sure you keep fresh content up there. Really is just kind of perusing through what you're doing. You know, when you're blogging and you're doing videos and stuff like that, you kind of share your thoughts with people. You know, so if one is, hey, I'm thinking about, I don't know, let's just say if you're starting to market, hey, I'm sending out, and because this is what I did on BiggerPockets, I'm sending out 250 letters today. I'm gonna let you guys know how my response rate is, how everything was going. This is kind of what I put in my letter. These are kind of the people that I'm reaching out to. I don't know if it's going to be a success, but we're working on it. I'll keep you guys posted, let you know how I'm doing. Something simple, you know.
Okay. So kind of, you know, do your business, kind of play by play, share it with other people, inspire them, let them know the challenges you're going through, let them know you normal kind of situation, and then share your successes.
Yep, be an open book, man. That was one of the things that was hard for me, was being an open book, because I was always so private, you know, and then I had to come out of that because even my wife told me, she's like, dude, you're doing a lot, man. Stop thinking that you're not doing anything, and share what you're doing with the people. And that's what I just really started doing. So yeah, it could be little topics, Victor. It don't even have to be much. And right now, I wouldn't even say do write blogging. You know, just pick up your phone, dude, and do a, you know, 2-minute. I do what's called a 2-minute meetup on Tuesdays, and then I do a fun fact Friday on Fridays, and it's only 2 minutes. So I just talk about something that I went through the week, or something that I learned, and I just share it. That's it.
Ooh, that's gold, man. I really appreciate that, Marcus. That that puts me up a notch or two.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's just giving that free content, like what Justin doing. Yeah. Justin, it don't take much. You know, you just have to be consistent at doing it, you know, and get out there and do it. That's it.
Okay, yeah. Justin got us on schedules now, so you know he gave us a boss called he gave us a program that's our boss now. So you know, moving closer to having a methodology that works with consistency.
Yep. That's good. And you have a good thing that you do have, is that you got Justin, you know, for accountability too. Yeah. So hey, Victor, did you put your blog posts out? Did you do your videos? Because when someone holds you accountable, you don't want to let them down. You know, you can let yourself down all day, because you'd be like, well, you know, I didn't do it because of this, I didn't do it because of that. But if you tell Justin that, he's going to be like, well, that's not an excuse, man.
Yeah.
Well, it takes you 2 minutes to do it. Get out there and get it done.
Come on, man. Stop coming up with excuses.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for that, Marcus. That's amazing, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. No problem. So I'm gonna be looking for your videos and stuff. So make sure you get my contact information after this, so I can follow you.
Absolutely. Will do.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. I think Kimberly jumped on. I'm not sure if she have her mic unmuted. Kimberly, you got a question? All right. I guess not.
Kimberly. Okay. We've been here about an hour, guys. I don't want to keep Mr. Marcus Maloney extra long or anything like that. But if he's open to any last questions, if anybody has any, that's great too.
I got a question.
David. All right.
Hey, Marcus, I listened to your the podcast on BiggerPockets with you, where they interviewed you. And you said that you did something with a direct market, with direct mail. Can you just talk about how that you said a professional piece of mail, so it's not the regular,
I was curious about that too, David. Great question, man. Because you were making the distinction between how we handwrite yellow letters and then we address the envelope with a crayon, and and then you are going with the professional business type oriented. Awesome question, David.
So what we do, and like I said, I'm an open book. So we just send out a professional looking letter, has a letterhead, our logo, but the content is still the same. Hey, I'm Marcus Maloney. I've been buying houses in Chicago on the South Side for a number of years. I see you own the property at 123 Main Street. Are you interested in selling this property? If so, please let me know. And then I'll have a blurb down there of, a recent property we bought or a property that we're doing a rehab in the area. So without being specific, I may say, we recently bought a property on 91st and Colfax, and we're looking to buy more properties in this area, in this neighborhood. Feel free to, go to my, web page, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me. And then lastly, if you're not ready to sell your property right now, just hold on to my letter. In the future, if you get to that point, just make sure you give me a call. And we just have certain calls to action. We send it out in a professional envelope, that have a call to action on the front of the envelope. And that call to action may be important property information, bold in red, or important property tax information, bold in red. That's going to make them open it up. What happens with yellow letters, because we used to do yellow letters all the time, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you have to switch it up sometime, because some people will respond to a yellow letter where some people won't respond to a professional letter, and vice versa. I had, this was a call that I received, a message that I received from a yellow letter. And they basically said, well, if you're not professional enough to send out a professional letter, then I'm not interested in doing business with somebody that's not professional. So that made me check myself like, whoa.
Did you send him a professional letter then, like immediately?
Yeah. And absolutely. That's what we did. We said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start switching it up. So some will send out yellow letters or handwritten letters, and then we'll follow up behind it with, a professional letter, because people respond to different things, and that's even to go with text messages. Some text messages we'll send out, we'll have known written spelling errors in the text message so that they know that it's coming from a live person. How many times have you sent out a text and you got fat fingers and you say the wrong thing? You're talking to a live person, but if everything is correct and professional, people will be like, how did you get my number? Who is this? Right. So you have to do little things, to switch things up. So that's why I tell people the most important thing is not really doing a deal, but it's how to market to find that deal.
That's hilarious, man. I tell people something like that all the time. And it's like, the dumber you can make this business, the better off you'll be. Like purposefully misspelling something, it's so interesting. It adds that genuineness, that authenticity to it, right?
It does. And that's the main thing, is people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Once they know you, then they begin to like you, and then they begin to trust you, and then closing the deal is easy after that. During this whole COVID thing, I got a property under contract in February. The guy was older, and I walked him through the whole process. We closed 2 weeks ago, so it took some time because of COVID. But during the whole process, he was like, "Well, I don't know about this. So I just started. Every time I talked to him, it wasn't always about the property. I would just give him a call, hey, how you doing? Just checking up on you and the family. I know going through COVID, going through, the social unrest and everything like that. How's everybody doing? You just build that rapport, over time. Some people you can do that with. Now, some people you can't. Some people are red personalities where they want to know, how much you going to give me for my property? That's all I want to know.
Yeah. We've got a great question here in the YouTube comments. Marcus, do you put offers in on properties that the sellers have listed with an agent? You do business with agents at all?
We do business with agents, but because I am licensed, I can't put in an offer directly to a seller that's listed with an agent, because then that it's a red flag on me because it looks like I'm trying to circumvent the commission to the other realtor.
Interesting.
Guys, just play the game and play it effectively. So if they got the property listed, let's just say if they got the property listed and you sent them a direct mail piece and they give you a call back and they say, hey, you know what? I got the property listed with the realtor. You just give that realtor a call. Say, hey, I know you got the property listed. I sent your client a direct mail piece. We are interested in it. However, we like deals that's off market. Let me know, if this listing get hung up or, if somebody backs out, we may be interested in stepping in. Because you don't want to burn those bridges with realtors, because guess what? Realtors is the best source to move your properties as a wholesaler. So the majority of my buyers list are realtors. Because what do realtors do? They go out there and they market to find people that's looking to buy houses.
They're talking to these people every day.
Every day. So we have our buyers list consists of cash buyers and realtors. The majority of the time, it's our realtors that say, hey, I have a buyer that may be interested in this. When can we take a look at it?
Interesting.
But most people have the mindset of, realtor versus wholesaler versus realtor.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you use that, you collaborate with them.
Hey, Marcus, one last question.
Sure.
Have you ever called a realtor that the listing failed to ask them before you tried to cold call or reach out to the seller?
No. Normally what we do is, let's just say if it was a canceled listing, we contact the seller and then we turn it around and we say, hey, did the realtor explain to you or give you any indication why the property didn't sell? Was it pricing? Was it the condition of the property? Did they give you any indication why the property didn't sell? Because now the realtor is out the way, so, you can go back and ask the realtor. That way you can find out, kind of if the client was hard to work with. So you want to be able to get both sides.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, great question. Denise B says, I have a great deal properties in LA, but she's waiting on her LLC. I'm not sure what you mean there. The property needs work. She says, I will email you if it's okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. But I don't know why you're waiting on an LLC. Yeah. Get out there and get the deal done and then use that money to help fund your LLC. Right. Don't wait. Stop making these guys stop.
Silly.
Stop. Yeah, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Just get out there and do it.
Yeah. Talking about emailing you, share with us, Marcus, as we wrap up here, and thank you for your generosity and your time. What's the way that we can get to your website, to you, or your training, or your book, or what do you have that we can learn more from?
Okay, so you guys can find me. First off, my website is Marcus E as in equity Maloney. So that's MarcusE MALONEY.com. There I have like a 15-minute free consultation. You'll see it right in the header. Click on there, put your information in there, and we can talk one-on-one. So if you're not comfortable in sharing in this open forum, you can talk directly to me one-on-one that way. Also, man, social media. So Victor, you'll see me, man. I'm out there. You can meet me Instagram at Mrcs Maloney. So it's Marcus without the vowel. So MrcsMaloney.com or at Instagram.
You know what I thought of, Marcus? When you delete the vowels out of that, you're deleting an A and a U, right?
Yeah.
Which is the periodic table of the elements abbreviations for gold.
Oh, really? Well, I don't want to do that. I need all the gold that we can get. So it's Twitter at MRCS Maloney, Instagram at MRCS Maloney, YouTube, tons of content, free content, youtube.com/MRCS Maloney. So you guys can find me in plenty of ways. I'm on BiggerPockets. Just put my name in there. I got nearly 100 articles on BiggerPockets. if you haven't listened to the Bigger Pockets podcast, I'm show number 385 and 86. So I get deuces. I got 2 episodes wrapped in one, so, and I'm going to even tell you a little story about that briefly. So during COVID, before COVID, we recorded the episode, right? So I received an email, and the email said, hey, you know what? Due to COVID, we have to move some things around. So some episodes that we previously aired may not be shared. So immediately I was like, man, that was my time. I wanted to be on Bigger Pockets. Now my show is not going to be aired. So I went back to my affirmations, and then I started speaking. I said, you know what? My show is going to be aired. My show is going to be aired. My show is going to be aired. They gave me a call and said, you know what? Not only are we going to air your show, but we're going to do a post-COVID show. So you're going to get 2 shows. So that's the power, guys, of that positive thinking and positive mindset. Believe me, it works.
Absolutely. Of course, go check out those interviews. I believe both of those are on YouTube, correct?
Yep. Both of them are on YouTube.
Yeah. And you can check out Bigger Pockets blog also, where Marcus writes faithfully there. Well, how do they find that too?
What I could do, Justin, I can give you a link afterwards, and that link could go directly to all of my Bigger Pockets bio with all of my posts.
Awesome, man. That'd be great, because I know people would like to learn more. You're a tremendous resource. I'm very, very, very honored and grateful that you're here, that you spent this much time with us. Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you, guys. Remember, go out there, take action. Get your mind right. Go out there and take action. And then again, lastly, the 2-minute meetup on Tuesday. I'm trying to be consistent. So Victor, you might have to be my accountability partner on that.
I'm all over it, man. I'm all over all your stuff right now. You see my subscription and everything, man. I appreciate you.
Okay. So, So a 2-minute meetup on Tuesdays on IG and Instagram. And then the Fun Fact Friday, where I give a fun fact every Friday. Normally it's right around 4:30 Pacific time. And that's on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. I set notifications.
Okay, there we go. Hold me accountable, man. Hold me accountable.
I got you.
So I got one last thing, Justin, before we go. I need to hear from Mike Goolsby. You've been on here from the beginning. Man, just give me a what's up something.
What's up? I was gonna ask you about your what type of how do you get your leads, your marketing? What type of marketing do you use?
Okay, so you're gonna wait till the last minute to ask me this, man. We could have went into this.
No, I'm gonna get your information and then talk to you a little later.
Okay. We do direct mail and we do text messaging.
Okay.
And now we're starting to roll into some SEO.
Okay, great. Oh, Gerald Norton is on your Bigger Pockets too, right?
Yeah, he's on there. You know what? I'm gonna probably get him on a podcast because I've been following him and seeing some of the things that he's doing. I've been following him.
Yeah, Gerald's a tough guy, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Justin, let me know. I'll send you all of the links, everything. That way you can put in the show notes.
Just DM me, man. DM me and I'll throw them in the show notes, the comments or descriptions or what have you. And you guys check them out. Go over there, take a look at it, get the materials, buy the courses, whatever it is, guys, because this is the real stuff.
Yeah. And I have on my website, guys, I like to do a lot of stuff for free. So I got free purchase contracts, free assignment agreements, free 15 questions to vet your sellers. This is over the phone. So it's all kind of stuff over there, man, you can get started with. If you want to use it, use it. If not, don't. But I use it, and we close $30,000 wholesale deals, pretty consistently. Yeah.
If you're like me, you're a contract hoarder. So like anybody's free contracts, you just
Yep. Get it. Get it. And guys, it's tons of information out here, man. It's tons of information out there. So it's not the information, but it's the application.
There you go.
So you got all of the information out there. You just have to apply it. That's it.
All right, guys, go and do likewise.
All right, guys. Always remember to enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, guys.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week at the public Q&A on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. That's 8 a.m. on the West Coast, over there where Victor is. Hey,
all right,
everybody. God bless. We'll see you.
Okay, see you guys. Thank you.